Are you feeling overwhelmed by the changes in your life? Do you wonder why certain things are happening to you? It might signify that God is pruning you for a greater purpose. Though often uncomfortable, pruning is a necessary process for growth and fruitfulness. Just as a gardener prunes a plant to help it flourish, God prunes his children to prepare them for greater things. In this video, we'll explore what it means to be pruned by God and how you can recognize the signs. We would also provide encouragement and insight into your spiritual journey. By the end of this video, you'll better understand God's pruning process and how it's leading you to a more fulfilled and purposeful life. One of the most evident signs that God is pruning you is experiencing uncomfortable changes. These changes can be sudden and unexpected, shaking the very foundation of your life and leaving you feeling vulnerable and uncertain. These changes can take various forms: relationship endings, job transitions, or unexpected challenges. You might find yourself moving to a new city, starting a new job, or even facing the end of a significant relationship. Each of these scenarios can be incredibly daunting, but they are often necessary steps in your spiritual and personal growth. While these situations may feel disruptive and unsettling, they often serve a higher purpose in God's grand design for your life. It's during these times of upheaval that you are given the opportunity to reassess your priorities, realign your goals, and rediscover your true self. The discomfort you feel is a sign that you are being stretched beyond your comfort zone, which is essential for growth. Consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. His life was a series of uncomfortable changes, each more challenging than the last. He went through numerous uncomfortable changes, from being sold into slavery by his brothers to being falsely accused and imprisoned. Each of these experiences was a test of his faith and character. Despite the overwhelming odds, Joseph remained steadfast in his faith, trusting that God had a plan for him. Despite these trials, Joseph remained faithful, and God used these experiences to position him as a leader in Egypt, ultimately saving many lives during a famine. His story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest times, there is a divine purpose at work. Joseph's journey from the pit to the palace was not just about his personal success, but about fulfilling a greater mission that God had set for him. Uncomfortable changes are not meant to harm you, but to help you grow and strengthen your faith. They are like the refining fire that purifies gold, removing impurities and making it more valuable. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to develop resilience, patience, and a deeper trust in God's plan for your life. Embrace these moments as opportunities for growth. Instead of resisting change, welcome it with open arms, knowing that it is a crucial part of your journey. Plant new seeds in the garden of your life and nurture them with faith and hope. These seeds will eventually grow into something beautiful and fruitful. Reflect on what God might be teaching you through these experiences. Take time to meditate, journal, and seek wisdom from trusted mentors or spiritual guides. Understanding the lessons behind your struggles can provide clarity and peace, helping you navigate through the storm with a sense of purpose. In these challenging times, your character is refined and your trust in God is deepened. You become more empathetic, compassionate, and equipped to help others who may be going through similar trials. Your experiences can become a source of strength and inspiration for those around you. Remember, God's pruning is always for your benefit, preparing you for a greater purpose you may not fully understand. Trust in His wisdom and timing, and have faith that the uncomfortable changes you are experiencing are leading you towards a brighter, more fulfilling future. Embrace the journey, and know that you are being shaped into the person you are meant to be. Another sign that God is pruning you for a greater purpose is feelings of isolation. Isolation can be a challenging and lonely experience, but it often serves a higher purpose in God's plan. During these periods, you may feel distance from friends, family, or your usual activities, leaving you to spend more time alone. Consider the example of Elijah, who found himself isolated in the wilderness. God provided for him and spoke to him directly in his solitude, preparing Elijah for the tasks ahead. This period of isolation allowed Elijah to rely solely on God, strengthening his faith and dependence on divine guidance. Feeling isolated can push you to deepen your relationship with God. In these moments, take the opportunity to pray, reflect, and seek His presence more earnestly. Isolation removes distractions, enabling you to hear God's voice more clearly and understand His will for your life. It's a time to grow spiritually, focusing on personal development and aligning yourself with God's purpose. The third sign that God is pruning you is facing repeated challenges. These challenges can come in many forms, whether they are personal, professional, or spiritual. They often seem to appear just when you think you have everything under control, catching you off guard and testing your resolve. These challenges can feel relentless and exhausting, but they strengthen your character and faith. Each obstacle you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, to deepen your trust in God, and to build a more resilient spirit. It's through these trials that you learn to rely not on your own strength, but on the strength that comes from your faith. When you encounter the same type of difficulty over and over, it may be God's way of refining you, teaching you important lessons, and preparing you for greater responsibilities. These repeated challenges are not meant to break you, but to build you up, to prepare you for the future that God has planned for you. They are like a refining fire, burning away the impurities and leaving behind a stronger, purer version of yourself. Look at the story of David, who faced numerous challenges before becoming king. His journey was not an easy one, but each trial he faced was a step on the path to his ultimate destiny. David's story is a powerful reminder that the road to greatness is often paved with difficulties. From battling Goliath to fleeing King Saul, David's life was filled with trials. Each of these challenges tested his faith and his resolve, but they also prepared him for the responsibilities that lay ahead. David's battles were not just physical, but spiritual as well, teaching him to trust in God's plan and to rely on his strength. Each challenge he faced built his resilience, trust in God, and leadership skills, ultimately preparing him to be a wise and just ruler. These qualities were not developed overnight, but through years of facing and overcoming obstacles. David's story shows us that true leadership is forged in the fires of adversity. Repeated challenges are growth opportunities. They are chances to develop new skills, to strengthen your character, and to deepen your faith. Each challenge you face is a stepping stone on the path to becoming the person God created you to be. They reveal areas that need development and help you cultivate patience, perseverance, and humility. These qualities are essential for anyone who wants to live a life of purpose and meaning. Patience teaches you to wait on God's timing. Perseverance gives you the strength to keep going when things get tough, and humility reminds you that you are not in control, but that God is. Instead of feeling defeated, view these trials as part of God's pruning process, designed to make you stronger and more capable of fulfilling His purpose. Each challenge is a tool that God uses to shape you, to mold you into the person He wants you to be. It's through these trials that you become more like Christ, more capable of carrying out His will. Embrace these challenges with faith and confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. He has promised never to leave you or forsake you, and He is faithful to His word. When you face challenges, remember that you are not alone. God is with you, guiding you and giving you the strength you need to overcome. Remember that each obstacle is not a setback, but a setup for your future success. Each challenge you face is a stepping stone on the path to the future that God has planned for you. Embrace these challenges with a positive attitude, knowing that they are preparing you for the great things that God has in store for you. Trust in His plan and know that He is using these challenges to make you stronger, wiser, and more capable of fulfilling His purpose for your life. The fourth is the loss of comfort and security. Finding yourself stepping out of your comfort zone or losing things that once brought you security can be a sign that God is working to develop your reliance on Him. Examine the story of Job, who lost his wealth, health, and family. Despite these profound losses, Job remained faithful to God. Through his suffering, Job's understanding and relationship with God deepened, and eventually he was blessed even more abundantly than before. Loss of comfort and security challenges you to trust in God more fully. It strips away the false sense of security in material possessions or stable circumstances, pushing you to find security in God's unwavering presence and promises. This process can be painful but necessary for spiritual growth and maturity. An increased awareness of sin is the fifth sign that God is pruning you for a greater purpose. When you start to notice and become more sensitive to the sins in your life, it indicates that God is working to cleanse and purify you. This awareness is essential for spiritual growth and aligns you more closely with His will. In the story of King David, after his sin with Bathsheba, David became acutely aware of his wrongdoing. He repented sincerely, seeking God's forgiveness and cleansing. This heightened awareness of his sin led to a transformed heart and a more substantial commitment to following God's ways. Increased awareness of sin brings about genuine repentance and a desire to live holy lives. It encourages you to avoid behaviors and habits that hinder your relationship with God. This pruning process helps you to become more Christ-like, reflecting His love and righteousness in your daily life. The sixth sign is a strong desire for holiness. Another sign that God is pruning you for a greater purpose is developing a strong desire for holiness. This longing indicates that God is at work in your heart, drawing you closer to His standards and transforming you into His likeness. As you seek holiness, you prioritize your relationship with God and align your actions with His will. The Apostle Paul's life was marked by a deep desire for holiness after his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus. He dedicated himself to honoring God, spreading the gospel, and encouraging others to pursue righteousness. A strong desire for holiness often leads to significant changes in one's life. One may find themselves distancing themselves from certain habits, environments, or relationships that do not support spiritual growth. Pursuing holiness is part of God's pruning process, refining one's character and strengthening one's faith. Sign 7. Developing greater patience. Developing more remarkable patience is another sign that God is pruning you for a greater purpose. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how we behave while we wait. It's about maintaining a positive attitude and trusting that everything will unfold in God's perfect timing. Patience is vital in the Christian walk, allowing you to trust in God's timing and plan, even when things don't go as expected. It helps you to remain calm and composed, even in the face of adversity. When you develop patience, you are better equipped to handle life's challenges with grace and faith. As God prunes you, He often places you in situations that require you to wait and depend on Him. These moments of waiting are opportunities for growth and reflection. They teach you to lean on God's understanding rather than your own, and to find peace in His promises. Think about the story of Abraham and Sarah. Their journey was a testament to the power of patience and faith. Despite the long years of waiting, they held on to God's promise with unwavering belief. They waited many years for the fulfillment of God's promise to give them a son. Their story is a powerful reminder that God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't align with our own expectations. Throughout this waiting period, their patience was tested, but it also grew stronger. Each moment of waiting was a step towards a deeper faith and a stronger relationship with God. When Isaac was finally born, it was clear that God's timing was perfect, and their faith and patience had been rewarded. Their story encourages us to trust in God's plan and to be patient, knowing that He is always working for our good. Developing more remarkable patience helps you to become more resilient and steadfast in your faith. It builds your character and prepares you for the greater things that God has planned for your life. It teaches you to rely on God's wisdom rather than your understanding. Patience is a virtue that strengthens your spirit and helps you to navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and trust in God. This process can be challenging, but it shapes your character and prepares you for the responsibilities and blessings that God has in store. Embrace the journey of developing patience, and you will find that it leads to a deeper, more fulfilling relationship with God and a greater sense of peace and purpose in your life. Experiencing God's silence, which is the eighth sign, can be a profound sign that He is pruning you for a greater purpose. Feeling that God is silent can be a testing time for your faith. However, God's silence often means He works behind the scenes, preparing you for something significant. Consider the story of Jesus in the wilderness. Before starting His ministry, Jesus spent 40 days in the desert, experiencing silence and temptation. During this time, He relied on God's word and emerged stronger and more prepared for His mission. God's silence was a crucial part of His preparation. Experiencing God's silence challenges you to seek Him more diligently and to trust Him more deeply. It encourages you to lean on your faith even when you don't feel His presence. This period of silence is often a time of preparation and growth, where God is refining your character and building your trust in His plan. The ninth sign is a deepening of faith, which is a clear sign that God is pruning you for a greater purpose. When your faith is tested and strengthened, it indicates that God is preparing you for something more significant. This process often involves challenges that push you to rely more on God and less on your understanding. Look at the disciples' story during the storm on the Sea of Galilee. Their faith was tested as the storm raged, but when Jesus calmed the storm, their faith in him deepened significantly. They witnessed his power firsthand and learned to trust him more completely. A deepening of faith often comes through trials and tribulations. These experiences teach you to depend on God in all circumstances, strengthening your trust and confidence in his plans. As your faith deepens, you become more equipped to handle future challenges and fulfill God's purposes. The last sign is the emergence of new opportunities. After a period of challenges and growth, you may see new doors opening in your life. These opportunities often align with the lessons you've learned and the character you've developed through God's pruning process. In the story of Esther, after facing the risk of revealing her identity and pleading for her people, Esther was presented with the opportunity to save the Jewish nation. Her courage and faith, developed through earlier trials, prepared her for this crucial moment. The emergence of new opportunities indicates that God has been preparing you for a specific purpose. These opportunities may come in various forms, such as new relationships, career advancements, or unexpected blessings. They are a testament to the growth you've experienced and the readiness to take on greater responsibilities in God's plan. As we've explored, God pruning you for a greater purpose involves various signs and experiences. From facing uncomfortable changes and feeling isolated to developing a strong desire for holiness and seeing new opportunities emerge, each sign is a step in your spiritual growth and preparation for a higher calling. Remembering the stories we have explored reminds us that God's pruning, though sometimes painful and challenging, is ultimately for our good and his glory. Embrace these signs and experiences as part of your journey. Trust in God's plan, even when it's not straightforward or easy. Know that he is with you every step of the way, shaping you into that person he created you to be. If you found this video helpful, be a blessing. Please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. Let's continue to grow together in faith and trust in God's perfect plan for our lives. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you his peace. Stay blessed.